Hey, how's it going? DemonDriver here. This is Emirates Airliner 777-9X build video part 5. In this video, we are going to sand and shape this nose section, this Emirates 777-9X nose section. You're here for that. I want to warn you right now, we're going to make a big mess. Be prepared for that fact. I'm warning you now. Mess. Coming up like any minute. So just be prepared for that and get your dust mask out. Get ready. And get your brooms and your vacuum cleaners because we're making a mess. Guaranteed right now coming up. Just tell your wife, honey, a mess is coming. Deal with it. Get out of the house. Alright, step 1. Alright, tools we're going to need. Step 1. Dust mask. Put a dust mask on right off the bat. That way you're going to kick up dust to begin with. So put this on. That's step 1. Let's take a look at the sanding tools that we're going to use for sanding the nose of our 777X. First is what I call a handheld mouse. Okay? Or a little sanding triangle. It's a foam, you know, it's designed like that. It fits into your hand and it's easier to sand with because it's just you can skim sand with it, you can go around rough edges. Pretty cool. This is a good thing to have. Next are various sanding blocks. Preliminarily, when you first start the sanding, you want a very rough sanding block, like a 60, or even a 40. 40, 60. The lower the number, the rougher the sanding surface. The higher the number, the finer. This is like an 80 grit to 100 grit right here. Sanding block. And then we have flat sanding blocks. If you want to get a really flat surface, you got something like this. A crimping, it uses sanding paper that fits around the edge. You open these parts here. It's got a clamp, and you open it up, and you can reload the paper. These come in handy because you can keep reusing them. And then we have various sanding pads, flexible sanding pads. These are great when you want to sand around a surface. I just invented a new word, kerfus. Curve and surface together, kerfus. Patent it, put it in the books, put the money in the car, that's the end of it. That's mine, I own that. Thank you. Continuing. Get a sanding pad, right? And it helps you go around the surface. When you're getting into the fine-tuned sanding and you're getting a smoother surface, you use a sanding pad that'll give you that rounded edge. But the creme de la creme, the tool that's going to make your life good, the Black & Decker mouse with removable Velcro sanding pad. This is going to save you hours. This tool, the Black & Decker mouse, sanding mouse, get one. It's going to make a tremendous mess. Oh yeah. Alright, let's get started. Let's get right down to business here. Let's get right down to brass tacks. Alright. We have our nose here, our Emirates 777-9X nose. And remember what I showed you in the last video, the models? What do I have sitting right here? I have my 777-200 freighter, and I'm going to use that nose section to compare with this to make sure I'm not screwing up. So I put that right there. It's sitting right there. So I can just, I'm working and I'm looking. I'm like, and I make that noise so it irritates you, and then you get mad at me, and it's like a circle. Come on, let's keep going. All right, guys, how we doing? You guys been well? How's life treating you? Huh? Good. Alrighty then. All right, let's get started here. All right. All right. Now, one of the most important things I want to do is I want to mark off where the flight deck is going to be, even before I get started. Right. I know the flight deck is right there. So what I do is I take a silver pen or marker, because you don't want black, because that black line is going to stay there. Trust me, it's going to stay there. Alright. And I mark off right there where the flight deck is going to be, where the flight deck windows are going to be. And I make sure I keep looking at that nose, right? Do you see that? Boom. Boop, boop, boop. So I'm watching, I'm looking. It's the 777 over my shoulder. Get it? Alright, come on. I've had a lot of coffee, so I got plenty of energy. Because you're going to need... Hey, when you start sanding, let me tell you something. You start sanding styrofoam, you're going to need a lot of energy. You cannot be doing this tired. Ain't going to happen, baby. If you're tired, forget it. Just don't even... Alright, vacuum cleaner. Have a vacuum cleaner ready, because I'm telling you something right now. You're going to need this. Remember the movie Airplane 2? The sequel, when they had the shuttle in space? And the actor Hayes, I forgot, it's Mike Hayes or something Hayes, goes to the back of the galley and there's a door that says danger, vacuum, and he opens the door and it's like, and he's like, going like, remember that? Forget it. Alright, vacuum, you need a vacuum. Alright, let's start. Let's get right down to business. Remember the mouse I showed you? We're gonna get rocking with the mouse. I'm gonna show you how awesome it is. It just cuts right through the foam. It cuts right through the monotony and the boredom. It just boom. And I know you guys are saying, "Shut up, Chris. Start working." Okay. Here's what you do. You take the. Let me make sure you guys are situated properly so you see everything. There's my other G650 over there, sitting over there. There's a couple of customers. GB Racers over there. Right over there. So, alright, you take the nose, stick it right to your chest, like, ugh! I'm like Quato in Total Recall. Forget it. Alright, here we go. Mouse. Get the mouse. Get ready. Here we go. Now, listen. You got your curvature already set in right here from the hot wire. We don't want to break into that yet. We want to hit it right in here. Now watch what happens. Watch how this thing just tears this thing apart. Okay? Alright, I'm going to try and step back a little bit so you can catch more of the action as I make a huge mess. And it's going to be a huge mess. Here we go. You see what I'm doing? I'm curving. I'm going like this around the curvature, right? Because much like I was saying, like the 777 nose, and like the A300 nose, the 777 nose is very rounded. Very rounded. So I'm constantly looking at that nose right over there. Okay? Alright, mouse at the ready. There we go! Alright, let's have a look at our progress from just the mouse sander. Look at that. Just from the mouse sander alone, look at what we did. Now, it's still squared. If you look at it carefully, it's still squared. So what I need to do is, I need to attack the corners more. Now the mouse sander is great for getting things started and giving you, a visual aid to know, my God, I'm really making progress here, because it just zips right into it. It gives you a nice curved surface. So at this stage, what I need to do is I need to get one of these rough 50 or 40 or 50 rough grit sanding blocks, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I hold the body, I hold the nose section up to my face like this, pointing up, me looking down at it. I look over at the 777 model sitting right there. I take this and I attack these corners. Watch. See? I'm attacking the corners and making it more rounded. It's not squared, it's rounded. The 777 nose section is all round. No oval, it's round. Okay, so by using this block, we got the nose now down to this phase. Not bad, huh? Not bad. I've been doing this now about 25 minutes, that's it. Now, the next step, which is pretty important, and that is prepping the area where the actual flight deck is, the windows, the flight deck or cockpit windows. We look at the angle of our model of the actual flight deck windows, and we do the same there. We copy the angle. I've been doing this for a long time, so it's not as hard for me, but for you, it may be a little bit trickier. Sometimes you can use, a lot of the times it's easy to just use a razor and cut straight into that. But it's not always necessary. I'm actually looking around for one. But we don't need one. Take your sanding pad that we were using and just go ahead and just gently sand your angle right into your right into the nose, like this. Just like that. We got a little bit of epoxy here. We're going to pick that up. See, it's really easy. See? There's the angle for our windscreen. And then you got those areas there that are sticking up, and you just gently sand them down. Like that. That's a little bit of epoxy. This upper piece of foam was a piece of foam block that I attached to the big block to make it taller so it would fit the whole nose. Alright, Next stage. Next stage, my friends, is the flexible pad. Flexible foam pad. Now we just take our foam nose, take the pad, and we do this. We're just going to go around the circumference and just hand sand it with the pad. And we're trying to make as round a surface as we can, a round cross-section as we can. And you just keep doing it. Always make sure your dust mask is on your face properly. Don't want to breathe this crap in. And this is about a 60 grit, 40, 50, 60 grit, maybe a 40 grit. All right, after that pad, look at what we got. Damn near perfect. We're about 90% done. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And I just keep doing that until I get a perfectly round surface that I can look at that 777 nose and hold this right up to it, and it's perfect. And like 99% where I want it to be, you're good to go. Seriously. We went from that to that in about an hour. That to this. This, that. 1 hour. Message to you, get sanding. Hey, DemonDriver here. Okay, you've seen me sanding the nose section. Now, here's the tail section, and the tail section will be sanded down the same way. I will make my cuts and start to curve and make my cuts in the square corners here and start to round it. But before I do that, if you look carefully, you'll see a black line on the tail section of the 777, of the Emirates 777-9X. And what this is a clear plastic stencil that I use. Okay, and this is what I call the actuator fairing, or the stabilizer plate. And it's a clear piece of plastic, and I lay it down like that over the tail, and I do this right and left side, and I draw out the outline so that way when I sand the tail, I don't want to sand inside of this area, because this area, if you see it, has to remain flat. If you look at planes like the 777, the A380, the A380, the 747, many airliners that have the stabilizer on the fuselage in the back, this area is flat. It's really not curved, and the reason for that is when the stabilizer, the flying tail moves up and down. When the stabilizer moves up and down, this area can't be curved because the stabilizer has to travel and slide up and down on this piece, on this little piece here. So before you start to cut, you want to add that piece in so you know where not to cut and sand. Do you understand? And then basically the tail section is sanded the same way as you saw on the nose section. Same thing, same process, same thing. Okay. Well, that's actually what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go inside and start sanding, make another mess. You saw how I did it with the nose. I'm going to do the same thing here. And you can follow along, do the same thing at home. This is DemonDriver. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. I'm honored to have your views. Bye.